Music.
Music.
Where did I want to go? Oh, Budget Banton.
Hey, I never knew he was so articulate.
Yeah, very.
Not in a disrespectful sense.
Yeah,
but
I know.
In a sense where like the way he was talking about stuff, and it's not articulate as in like understanding. Articulate in the terms of like he's very clear in what he's. It's not
Clarity is amazing.
Yeah. It's not like he's not afraid to say or point, like as in you wouldn't say like for example we might say corporate interests or people above or the elites, but he's saying Jamaican government.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
He's serious.
Buju is very clear in how he speaks, and he's quite poetic in the way that he delivers messages. Do you get what I'm saying? I've always grown up and known Buju to be a special human being. I've said many times on the pod, in fact, that a lot of the times in my career, I've seen so many people of extreme notoriety, all different types of famous people, that I've seen. Rappers, singers, like people that have done whatever it is that they've done in their life where a lot of people know them, But nobody, none of them have ever made me anywhere near starstruck than when I see like somebody like Buju, somebody like Hcpod, somebody like Sizzler, like these people that like come from Jamaica that stand on these strong principles and whatever. Not things that I don't always agree with, but it's just who they are, like who they've built themselves to be. And I guess a lot of that has got to do with the fact that like where I'm from too, I grew up to reggae music in particular. So like growing up, I just listened to Buju so much. And I remember one time at Carnival, fitting because Carnival's coming up, but years ago, I was at Rampage and I'm standing there vibing with my friends and whatnot, and I see this tall brother, long locks, and he's got a motorbike helmet on. Yeah. Well, it's resting on his head. And he's like with two other people, and he's walking through the crowd, and like everyone is just showing him like the biggest piece of love, and like I was like, bro, I felt so starstruck to see this guy walk through like that. It was a long time ago. I don't think you're going to find it. It was some years ago. But anyway, he was on Drink Champs just recently with Nori, and he said loads of different things. One being, have you got a clip actually?
Yeah, you sent it to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Something that was very interesting. Let me ask you, because I've been watching. You said something that was very interesting. You said Afrobeats gives props back to reggae, to dancehall.
Do they?
I thought I heard you say that.
I don't think they do. No, I never said that. I said, don't give fucking props back to dancehall and reggae.
Oh, my bad. I heard it wrong.
Now you're really dyslexic.
Yeah. My bad. I thought I heard it the other way around. But then I heard you say, because I heard you say Afrobeats. I thought I heard you say that. The Afrobeats, like, pay
The
how.
greatest musician out of Africa was Fela Kuti. Yeah. Lucky Dube from South Africa. We had Salif Keita. We have Musu Ndour. We have Baba Mal. Now, no one wanted to go beyond the pale of what those brothers was doing. I went to Africa in 1991 and I spent like 3 weeks constantly at the universities,
in Kenya?
baobab trees,
In Kenya?
educating people from Ghana, all over the continent about reggae music.
Keep it loud,
dancehall.
keep it loud.
I was happy when they came to their senses to realize that music is the bridge that's going to connect us. But what I was disappointed in, they didn't try to connect with Jamaica, the roots. They connect with everyone else except us.
And you're talking about Afrobeats?
Yes.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
So they connect with everyone else except us. But when we look at what they're doing, their music is not free in Africa. It's fuckery.
I didn't know what to say.
We need to free Africa. If I know hallelujah in Jamaica and my country and my people fight for free your continent with word, sound and power. And you have the ability now and all you're singing is fuckery. You know, we sing a song to free Africa all now. But you need them bringing this to the forefront of your mind, but we desire more from them. You want the money? Go get it. But what's going to be said about you later on and your posterity? You didn't make any impact. So, reggae music still stands predominant. It is still the king's music.
Yes.
Okay, I need you to, before I say anything, yeah, can you go onto YouTube, put in Burna Boy and Zane Lowe?
What do you think it is? Why do you think it's harder for the people that know you best to love you the most?
Because they don't know you best. You just thought they did. You know what I mean? And that was where you made a mistake. You know what I mean? When you realize that, when you start going around the world and you start seeing that, oh, there's actually motherfuckers that know me a lot better than the people that share the same
Experience in life.
not even experience, because half of them, 90% of them have almost no real life experiences that they can understand, which is why you hear most of Nigerian music, or I'll say African music, I don't even know what to say, Afrobeats, that's what people call it. It's mostly about nothing. Literally nothing. There's no substance to it, like nobody's talking about anything, it's just a great time. It's an amazing time. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, life is not an amazing time. Do you know what I mean? No matter how nice you want of a time you're having now, or you had at some point, or you plan to have, yeah, you're still going to face life.
Yeah.
And
If I'm lying.
exactly. So it's like, for me, I feel like music should be that. Music should be the essence of the artist. You understand? The artist is a person. Like, me speaking for myself, the artist is a person who has good days, bad days, great days, and worse days.
Alright, you can stop it
You know
there.
what I mean? And for me,
So the reason why I played that part, because I remember when he said that like he was saying like Afrobeats, he doesn't like the term Afrobeats at all. He hates it, yeah, and quite a few of them do, which is a conversation for another day. But he was like sort of just making a point that he feels like it is essentially about nothing, yeah. Now the root of what he was saying, in which I can understand why some people felt a little bit of a way, is that the foundation of that part of the point he was making started from him saying they have no life experience, and that's not true, yeah. Of course they have life experiences. He goes on to later on say that, because he's essentially saying that you've got good days, you've got bad days, you've got the with artistry, it should be within the essence of that, within your life experience or whatever it may be, yeah. But ultimately right now he's feeling as though the music is just about having a great time, but life isn't always about having a great time. Now, going to what Buju's saying, because they're almost saying the same thing, here's where I definitely disagree with Buju, yeah? Buju says it's fuckery. He says the music is fuckery. The music isn't fuckery, because the music is about having a good... When I go to listen to Afrobeats, a lot of the time it makes me feel good. It makes me want to dance. It makes me want to like be in a certain type of environment or whatnot. And the music isn't low vibrational. But ultimately, the point that Buju is making and what Burna is making, a Jamaican and a Nigerian, yeah, is that the substance within the music they feel isn't particularly there. One thing that I noticed it, and of course they're like, I don't have I'm not educated enough to deep dive into Afrobeats music. I'm not. I'll be the first to tell you that. I could deep dive into reggae music. I can't with Afrobeats. I just assumed that it was always there and it just wasn't being pushed to me, or the people around me just wasn't listening to it or whatnot. But I always thought that there must be still, and I used to always ask people this, like, what, like, you see when you go to like your old school things and whatnot, like, what is your version of like Garnet Silk? You get what I'm saying? Like, what is your like? What is your version of like of Beres Hammond or like or Buju or whatever? Like, doesn't have to be necessarily the sound of the music, but just more the contents of what it is that they're doing. Anyway, Buju's making the point that Oh, I wanted to say this. I noticed that a lot of people are misunderstanding the difference between dancehall and reggae music. Because I see people say, "Oh, well, skin out your pom pom's got substance, then, innit?" Hey, dancehall reggae is different. Yeah, it's very different. But within reggae music, yeah, especially like from history all the way to today, there are so many points of like freedom type music that is there to like make you feel like like things are shit and low, or this thing's happening politically or whatever it may be, and like, but this it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And he's saying, look at all the things that are going on in all these different African countries and whatnot. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm seeing the music that is there to make you feel like it's gonna be all right. It's just everyone's just having a great time, or everyone's just dancing, and he's labeling it as fuckery. I hate that he labeled that as fuckery. But I had to go back to Burna Boy because I remember him saying essentially the same thing. There's so much things that are happening, but a lot of people are just going to what they think is the thing that just works, that level of litness. With reggae music is very different. Reggae music is not really so much like that. And I think maybe it might be unfair to put it on Afrobeats artists, because we don't put it on dancehall artists. We don't say to dancehall artists like, yo, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. There's a genre for that. Do you get what I'm saying? And you do get it in dancehall. You still get like uplifting songs and whatever else from dancehall. Naturally, this, all them skin out your pom pom, like all that is doing whatever it's supposed to do in it.
Yeah.
But there are those songs, definitely, yeah. But you have a whole reggae music of love songs and freedom fighting type tunes. Do you know what I mean? And maybe the bigger question more so is maybe there's a section of people within African countries that would benefit spiritually from that aspect of it. But somebody might come out and tell me there's millions of it and millions of people are vibes into it, and there are artists that are making great careers out of it or whatever else. I personally don't see it, but I don't necessarily go to Afrobeats for that though. I go to Afrobeats for a certain type of vibe, and maybe even when I look at myself, I'm like, maybe I go to that vibe, that Afrobeats for that certain type of vibe because that's the only thing that I felt that was ever on offer.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? If I felt like I saw something else on offer, I might lean a little bit more to that. You already know the style of rap that I lean to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that doesn't change in different genres. That is the same within all different genres. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of interesting what he said there. And I wonder if, yeah, obviously don't like, I'm just, do you know what I mean? I'm just deep diving in my head, yeah.
Go on.
But like, challenge me on this, because I think I could be wrong.
Right.
But this is just experience now, yeah. Growing up, when I look at like being in England, being Jamaican, and also going to America throughout my life, yeah, not living in America, but going to America, we always talk about a period of time where there were like sections of people that lived in African countries where you didn't necessarily know that they were from African countries. Yeah, although Americans will always call themselves like African Americans, you'll never usually, at one point you wouldn't hear someone say, yeah, like I'm from Nigeria, or I'm from here, or whatever, it's whatever. I almost feel like black people in America in particular would just say African American as just a thing, because that was just almost what they're told. You're just African American and you don't know where you come from, and that's a whole other thing. Yeah, but the ones that do know, from experience, it had seemed as though it wasn't shouted about so much. Whereas Jamaicans have always shouted about being Jamaican wherever they are in the world, yeah. And musically, that's always translated to. They're so patriotic about their music. I've always said that. They've always been so proud about the music that they make and the influence that that music has made throughout the world. Like, the population of Jamaica is 2 point something million, yeah? Back then, I don't know what it was. It might have been less, it might have been more. I don't know, yeah? But the music that they were making was so influential all around the world. They're shouting from that. And there was never a time for me personally where, like, any of them looked to maybe the Americas or like England or whatever it was as like, this is what success looks like,
Yeah.
as in stature. Do you get what I mean?
It's not the pinnacle.
Like, they wouldn't, yeah, they like for example, Bounty Killer wasn't looking at Jay-Z saying, yeah, I want to like be like Jay-Z and I want to wear this like Jay and whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he was like, yeah, you're Jay, I'm Bounty Killer in Jamaica, and this is where I'm from, and this is what I'm on. Yeah. It was always that. And so you tie that to the music, it was always like that. Now, from my experience, at one point, going back to what I was saying about like some people from African countries or whatnot, it if I'm being honest, it looked as though some may have modeled their success off of, let's say, like that black success that Jay-Z might have had in America, or Nas, or whoever it is, and it's like being over there and having an American accent and doing all of these type of things, until later on down the line, something changed. Some sort of self-love thing started happening. Something happened, and people started to really, really embrace where they were coming from. And I say all of that to say, if for generations, yeah, people might have looked to the American dream as what that success looked like, and you're making music, you could be modeling subconsciously elements off of that based upon the success that you're trying to have, yeah, as opposed to looking at, hold on a minute, this is where I'm from, this is what's going on around me, fuck them lot, whatever it's supposed to be is whatever it's going to be, this is what I'm adding within music. Does this make sense? And when you do that, that's when you will start hearing, not all the time, but you will start hearing elements of a lot more elements of that freedom fighting, cool type shit. Do you know what I mean? Adding to the fact that there's 222 million people within a country. Yeah, well, is that making sense?
It does make sense.
So I think that like that might be partly where when Burna Boy, for example, turns around and says, like the music's not really about nothing. Maybe it's like that because some are looking externally for what success looks like as opposed to internally. And if you look internally and you start really understanding the value of where you're coming from and understand the power of your voice within that, maybe things might be a little bit different, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think substance is a big issue in general when it comes to music.
Go.
I think a lot of genres struggle with the substance aspect in general. I think the good time vibe that you're talking about is what's sellable, and it's very much a crabs in a bucket mentality. I need to get out of my environment, I need to make bread, and if it means that we're just gonna dance around the studio and get high and drunk and just make a song with just like ad-libs that make no sense, that have no language, which by the way, respectfully, like even Burna Boy's admitted that some of the stuff that he says doesn't mean anything. Like I don't know what he said, some certain things that he's saying that there's no translation for it. But like, you know, yeah, like they just got to do what they have to do, and you can't really be mad at that. I think Buju's point is more so, you're from the motherland. Yeah. You have a responsibility
100 million
to raise that,
because he's also saying we've been doing it.
Yeah.
If you listen to like a lot of reggae music from early out, yeah, Mama Africa, they're balling out for it.
Yeah.
They're balling out for it. They've been balling out for the connection between the two also. So in a sense, he's essentially saying we've been singing about it, we've been bawling out for it, we've been looking for that spiritual connection between the two, and you're from there, and we just don't even we don't see it and we don't feel it. Not to say that it doesn't happen,
Right.
but you got a responsibility. There's bare things happening right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you make a good point. Still, you make a good point.
I mean, there are loads of countries that I'm sure do it.
Yeah.
But there is a language barrier, because the reality is never eat shredded wheat. The western coast of Africa is what is, and South Africa, I guess, is what is like English or Creole or broken down English. And so like, if for example Eritrea is talking about Africa and Eritrea, right? They're not saying it in English. It's not a language that you're going to understand. It's not a language that you're going to be able to relate to. Same with, I don't know, Somalia or Angola, who speak Portuguese, or whoever else. If they're speaking their own thing and they're speaking about Africa, I've heard like Libyan or Algerian songs that speak, like I've heard the translations. And
I don't think he's because I don't want to do is make it seem like he's saying that nobody's doing it. I think he's pointing out a genre of music that comes from a certain place from his understanding.
Sure.
And saying, yeah, I'm seeing what's going on, but I'm not seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah. It's not substantial enough.
Yeah. But the irony of it all, though, is that I think that a lot of the African artists that come from, let's say Ghana and Nigeria in particular. I could say many of the other ones, but I feel like there is a high level of respect for Jamaican artists, like a super high level.
Yeah.
And I always remember I saw a clip one time of Burna Boy, for example. I remember him being in Jamaica, and he was at Sizzler's yard, and he literally looked like he was in a kid in a toy store. Yeah, where he just was lost in it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where to go. And financially, Burna Boy is through the absolute roof.
Right.
But none of that matters. There, in that part there, it's about like, a spiritual thing. And he's looking at Sizzler and Capleton and them, man, and thinking, I can't believe it. I'm here right now with them, man. He's gone to Stone Love on Wednesday. And all he wants to do is chill and be amongst it and whatnot. And I'm sure that like there are so many other artists like that would love to be in the presence of them, man, and show that level of respect and be in amongst it and show a level of gratitude, because I do believe that they do hold them, man, like that. But again, I don't even know if Buju really cares about that aspect of it. I think he just cares about the freedom of the people. I saw a title to a pod, I think it was 3 Shots, where I didn't actually listen to the pod, but it was like, is Buju jealous of Afrobeats? And I'm like, if you know them, man, and where these men come from, that's not, they don't that type of thing is not within them like that.
Yeah.
They're not looking at them, man, and thinking, them man are making X, Y, Z money or whatnot. Like, they don't care about that. They do not care about a section of them anyway.
Sure.
Do not care about that whatsoever. They are very happy where they come from. Some of them make enough. They are happy with their resource, and they are seen as gods from where they come from.
Right.
So they don't want or need for nothing, but they have a certain principle and a certain way of life and a certain understanding of life that they believe is the righteous way, and they believe that Africa is the motherland and it should be preserved a certain way, the people should be looked after a certain way, and there should be an uplifting in all different aspects, including the music, if not even more so the music. So yeah, man. Anyway.